Now, an emoji, it seems to me, as you have suggested, is a non-verbal communication of something. And in other situations, and in fact, you have testified to this effect, and there's evidence to this effect in this proceeding, that it might express an emotion or a feeling. Not so?
That is correct. I would agree with that.
Now, in that situation, if it expresses a feeling, and Ms. Mengo tells us in these proceedings that by conveying, by inscribing this emoji, I meant to convey this feeling, this expression. Surely that understanding or that expression by Ms. Mengo should similarly prevail, not so?
I would agree with that.
And in circumstances where the feeling that she ascribes to an emoji she used is different to yours, yours cannot prevail, can it?
No, because it's Ms. Mengo's intention and her understanding.
And you have not taken steps before testifying in this tribunal to ascertain what feelings or emotions did Ms. Mengo seek to convey by the emojis she used when she used the emojis referenced in volume 3, as she gave them in evidence during these proceedings. Have you?
No, not her verbal evidence, no. It's purely based on the text that I went through.
And text does not convey feelings, does it?
The emojis convey the feelings and the emotions as a form of non-verbal communication.
And the feelings that they convey are the feelings of the writer,
That is correct.
which you have not had regard to.
I haven't heard oral evidence.
Now, have you had regard, or maybe before I even move on to the respondents, have you had a moment to consult with Ms. Mengo on any of the WhatsApps that she inscribed in volume 3?
Chair, I've had no interaction with the complainant at all.
And do you know the complainant at all?
No, I don't know the complainant at all.
Do you know her cultural background?
I know that she's isiXhosa.
No, she's not. Is it Xhosa?
She's from the
Xhosa.
amaXhosa people.
She's Xhosa. Can you speak Xhosa
I can.
fluently?
Yes, I have competencies and
So what? Sorry,
reading, writing, speaking competencies.
speaking competence. And have you lived amongst the Xhosa people?
No, I have not.
So your understanding of the Xhosa people is through the language that you studied at varsity or wherever at school.
From school right through university, that is correct.
And you have not lived in the community of the Xhosa people.
No.
Now, when you prepared your opinion, did you have regard to any information which was at your disposal that gave you insight on what the respondent attached, to the meaning, or what meaning the respondent attached to the emojis that were used in these proceedings in volume 3?
No, I only had sight of the text messages that you refer to. I'm not quite sure in what volume, but that's the only text messages that I was provided with. I had no sight of anything else other than those messages.
You have not had regard to the affidavit deposed to by the respondent. So the chair. Can I?
You mustn't feel intimidated by those big bundles of books he's producing now and putting on his desk in front of him.
No, they're not meant for intimidation at all. There is an affidavit that was deposed to by the respondent in these proceedings. You say you have not seen such an affidavit.
The only thing I got, Advocate Madonsela, Chair, is the text messages that we went through. I didn't get anything else.
Does it not matter to you as an expert? So the Chair, I will refer to the respondent's affidavit in due course, and once I laid my hands on it now. Does it not matter to you by process of exclusion to, before you express an opinion, to understand what meaning did the respondent attach to the emojis that the complainant sent to her? To him?
I'm uncomfortable about that question, the way you put it. When you say, does it not matter to you, etc., etc., reframe it and say, does it matter to you? It's important to you to have regard to ABC.
Thank you, Chair. What I meant, Dr. Doctorate, is that surely it is important for you, in order to formulate an opinion on the interpretation, to be attached to an image, an emoji, to understand what the recipient, in this case the respondent, understood the emoji to mean.
As an expert at analyzing the text messages, all I am required to look at and require is a firm data set, Chair. So I explained in the beginning when I was giving evidence that it's important to have a sufficient data set. So i.e. the number of text messages. I cannot just analyze or draw an opinion or interpretation of maybe 5 or 6 emojis as an example, or text messages. I've got to have a full data set.
In order to formulate, when you say data set, what is data?
Data set refers to the text messages. We call it, as part of the analysis, it's a data set. So for instance, if we were looking at the analysis of statements, then if there's 10 statements or 20 statements, that is the data set that I work with. So it's just a term ascribed from a forensic and legal linguistics perspective.
Just to mean a paper on which something is written on.
Yes, so the text messages, that's a data set.
Yes, but then if it means something written on the paper, an affidavit by the respondent is a data set. On my understanding of what you are saying, a data set is it not?
As I said, Chair, all I received was the text messages, and that is sufficient, the data set, in order for me to interpret the emojis within that context based on that set of text messages that was provided to me.
Let us take it slowly.
Mr. Madonsela, I'm not saying you are confusing the witness. I'm just saying it looks as if you are confusing the witness.
I'm so sorry.
Can you just formulate your questions in a manner that she will easily follow?
Let me take it slowly, Dr. Doctorate. Is it not correct to say that an affidavit deposed to by the respondent in response to Ms. Mengo's complaint constitute what you call data set?
That would be if I was analyzing affidavits. I was analyzing the text messages, Chair.
Yes, you were never given a copy of her affidavit.
No,
That's what
Chair.
you are saying.
I was never provided with any affidavits of any nature, Chair.
And therefore it can't form part of the database.
It didn't form part of my data set, no, Chair.
Yes.
If it had been given to you, it would have shaped the view that you ultimately took to the.
Oh, hang on. She does not know the contents. She can't say whether it would have shaped a view because she has not even seen the contents. So it's an unfair question.
Thank you, Jefferson. I will probably try try and deal with the matter differently. If you had been given, if, as you say, the understanding of the respondent on what the emojis mean is important, and you were given information regarding his understanding of the information, that would shape your ultimate view on the matter, one way or the other.
I would then require, Chair, then both sets. I would require the complainant's understanding of the emojis and that she ascribed, and I would then require the understanding of the sender or the recipient with the respondent. That would then all form part, Chair, of the data set and inform it. Then we have a completely different data set with two additional sets forming part of the larger text messages. If that makes sense, Chair.
Now, am I then correct if I summarize the exercise that you undertook in this case, that you were given the data set of chats in volume 3, and you looked at them and drew inferences from the chat as to the meaning of the emojis? That's what you effectively do.
I didn't draw inferences, Chair. It was an analysis that I conducted based on the emojis, applying the various functions, my research understandings and applications within the specific context, Chair, of what appeared in front of me with both the sender and the recipient, so both respondent and complainant, Chair.
So in other words, you drew conclusions from the chats that you were given as to the meaning of the emojis.
That is correct, Chair.
And we too, I've also looked at the chats here, and I've read what they mean, and I can come to my own conclusion about what they mean. What grants you epistemic competence to comment on their meaning, the meaning of the emojis inscribed within the context of the chats?
Chair, I think this witness has many times explained why she can make the expert opinion she did make. She said she makes this expert opinion because of her expertise, her research, her doctorate, her PhD, her master's, and all the research that she has done. She has done publications that was peer-reviewed. This question has been answered many times before.
I don't know many times more, but you agree that is the answer you give?
I agree with Advocate Skeppers, Chair.
Yes, thank you.